Hello, my name is Leighton Khan and I'm a past president of the Rotary Club of St. Lucia. Today we want to share with you some very special information about a wonderful Rotary project, and it's our Rotary Annual Easter Anti-Drug Camp. Our Rotary Club this year is celebrating 50 years of its existence, and over those 50 years there's one special project that we have done repeatedly for the last 27 years. So that is an indication of how important our Easter Anti-Drug Youth Camp is to us. We have continued to do this project, we've continued to support it, and the public has supported this project because of the important benefits it has had and the important impact it has had on the lives of many of our young people. Today we'll be talking to a very special young man who has been a part of that camp for over 6 years. He has attended 6 camps in the past, and he has a wonderful story he would like to share with us. But before we speak to him, there are some individuals and some entities that we must recognize because they have played such an important role in the camp over the past years. The Ministry of Education has supported us all these years. The Castries Comprehensive Secondary School in particular is really the home of our camp. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force has been a strong supporter of this camp over the years, and they have come in on several occasions to help provide guidance to the young men and women who we host during that weekend. The Pride Group has also been very, very much a part of our camp, as well as the St. Lucia Cadet Corps. Most importantly, I have to recognize a fellow Rotarian, Steve Johnny, who has masterminded this camp and has hosted this camp for all these years. He has approached this camp with an unusual passion, and many, many young people across St. Lucia can speak to the many positive things they've learned as a result of this camp that has been guided by Steve Johnny. This camp, as I said, has done wonderful things for our young people, and today we have Mr. Giovanni York, who will share with us some of the wonderful experiences he has had and the important things he has learned at our anti-drug youth camp. So Giovanni, it's such a pleasure to have the opportunity to sit and talk with you today. I'm curious to hear about your story. You've been to the camp on 6 different occasions, and so you would have had a very good feel of the camp. And so we want to talk about that, but before we get into the camp and what you learned over the years, I want you to take us back to those years before you heard about the camp and to tell us a little bit about what your life was like and the path you were on and what life was like for you before you got introduced to the camp.
Okay. Well, my life before the camp, it was a bit on a down road, because, well, back, I attended the St. Aloysius RC Boys Primary School, and in there, I was a bit, troublesome, delinquent, because way back in the 90s, I feel from 1995 to about 1998, they have, a series of bomb scares, and every time, I would hear one, I always wish, that the school would blow up. But to my disappointment, it never did. And I really hated school. you know, that's one of the reasons, you know, I went to standard 5, you know. And before I went to secondary school, I was a member of the DA program at the St. Aloysius RC Boys Primary School. You know, it was where, you know, I started, you know, to think about, you know, making a difference in my life, you know. But at the same time, you know, the school concept, you know, being always there didn't well click in me, you know, because the head of the program also gave me the club's most disciplined member. But you know, even with that, you know, I still went on and give a lot of trouble in my early years at the Joshua Secondary School, you know, because when I entered Form 1, you know, I could remember cursing nearly every teacher for my school year, you know, and then taking counseling, you know, like about every week or every day sometimes, you know, and also always, you know, on a daily basis, being sent to the dean and being sent to the principal, and you know, and when ban, you know, and you know, well, when my parents, you know, hearing that, you know, that the track, you know, I was on, you know, my auntie and my parents, you know, they would always tell me, you know, that I have to change, you know, I curse too much, you know, I am too disrespectful, you know. My father always used to, you know, to beat me, you know, for the mouth I used to have, you know, and even that's another thing, you know, because, you know, at one time, you know, I had a little confrontation with my mother, and I ended up hitting her, you know, and that's something, you know, I that should have never come from me, you know. No son or daughter should ever put their hands on their mother, you know. But when that happened, my father beat me a lot, you know, scars, you know, still on my body. But my mother did something that, you know, I'll always remember, you know, because she never beat me when I did it. But, you know, the day after, you know, she greeted me, she made my breakfast, and she gave me bus money, and she did that every day, you know. That is something that, you know, I always thinking about, and no matter the amount of licks my father gave me, I think the way my mother responded to me worked on me the most.
Let me ask you, Giovanni, what were your expectations of the camp before you got to the camp? Did you think this was just going to be a nice wild weekend with the boys where you could stay up late at night and have fun, or did you think it was going to be something far more serious, that you could come away from learning something really useful and instructive? What were your expectations going in?
Well, my expectations of the camp the very first time back in 2001, you know, my cousin, you know, well, I have to say thank you to, I have to say thank you to Craig Wilson, you know, who introduced me and my cousins to the camp, you know, because we were planning on just staying home, you know, going in the court, going in the field, you know, and laugh around. And, you know, he a couple of weeks before school closed, he told us, he brought this family, tell us to come with him. You know, right now he's staying in Trinidad, so I just want to tell him thank you, you know, because it, you know, coming to Rochi Camp really got me, you know, to think about, you know, what I want to do with myself for the rest of my life. Now, my expectation of that camp the very first time, like, you know, prior to that, you know, I've been going to to camps like the St. John's and the cadets. So I take it, coming to this camp, let's be, coming there, people, will tell you do this, do that, you'll eat, you'll laugh. The activities will not go as planned like always, because that is typical Lucians. Come in there, have fun, give them stress, give the director stress, and then so on. So, but on my first time coming in 2001, I really didn't like Mr. Steve. Because my cousin, I really admire him. Even up to now, I admire him even more because the two of us are right now members of the Seventh Adventist Church. But before that, he had his cornrows on in 2001, and now I was on the other side of the country school, and I saw Mr. Steve walk into him, my two cousins, and Craig Wilson. And I see Mr. Steve, talking to him, doing things with his son, and then I see he stamping off my cousin, and then later, my cousin and Craig Wilson, saying that Mr. Steve, they send the guy off for no reason. Every time I see him, I'll not check him. Every time I see Mr. Steve out walking, I'll just turn around, because Jason is sending my van off, my cousin again.
And I also would like to ask you, Giovanni, what was that one thing that struck you most about what you learned at camp? What was that one experience that opened up your eyes, that made you pause for a while to think about why you were here and what difference it was going to make in your life? Was there that turning point for you at the camp?
One of the things that struck me the most about the Rotary camp is the activities they have scheduled during the camp. Because prior to that, the dean, though Mr. Patrick Burgess, he was the former technical drawing teacher of the school. He's retired now. I'm feeling a bit disappointed that I didn't check my partner before he retired. He gave me a lot of encouragement. Even though in 2001, I used to curse all the teachers. Every time I go to his class, he'd always tell me, I need to stop this. He always telling me, I have potential. He's one of the reasons why, I actually took, technical drawing serious. Because out of all the classes I used to fail, I always used to top technical drawing. But coming to these activities in 2001 and in 2002, the lessons, learning about drugs, learning about the rights of St. Lucia, learning about how the mind works, sitting down and and just thinking, because I can remember back in 2001, one of the presenters, was speaking to us, on changing ourselves, and making a difference. That change always begins with us.
I also wondered, Giovanni, when you came to the camp and it started to have an impact on your life, did that in any way affect your relationship with your friends, your colleagues, or your family members, or those who couldn't appreciate the value of the camp? Did you get any pushback from anybody, any kind of criticism, or were you supported along the way in terms of the changes you were trying to make? So after so many years of attending the camp, you actually came back this last time as a youth counselor. So you had gone through the ranks over the years for 5 years. Were they 5 consecutive years? And what was it like coming back to the camp now as a youth counselor to work with the other students and to help those who would have been in a similar position to you 6-7 years ago when you first started out? What was that experience like now that you had made that step up from a camper to a counselor?
Being a counselor this year, it was a bit, stressful at times. It was a bit fun, and it also, got me, thinking a lot, because when I watched some of the children, I saw, a lot of myself, not respecting authority and not listening, to people in authority, and disrespecting people at time, So I myself, I could have blown at them, but I didn't do that. I tend to understand the situation and then speak with them. Even in doing that, I got a couple of them to open up to me, tell me their problems, tell me the situation, and then I turn around, and give them, a little bit of the wisdom I have gathered throughout the years, in speaking with, Miss Branford, the teachers at the Georgetown Secondary School, the lecturers at Sir Arthur, and also, a couple members of my church, and also, just being also, a counselor, also got me, to see, what people in authority, are most of the time go through, the struggles they just have, and also, a little bit of what, my parents, and my elderly friends, are going through. My final words will be that coming to Rotary Camp, it was a bit, fun and a bit sometimes difficult, due to the fact that we have many personalities and many characters. But it's always good, to want change. Nobody, should be, wanting bad for anybody, and also, coming to the Rotary Camp all these years, it set me on a path, to think, to take school serious, to respect people, because from Rotary Camp, I started, to take my schooling serious, and from there, it got me, to coming to Rotary Camp all these years, from 2001 to 2004, and from there I came back again in 2008. It got me to take, life serious, to have more respect for my lecturers, to have more respect for my teachers and my peers as well, and also coming to Rotary Camp also got me to take, church serious, because if it wasn't for finding the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who right now, that I put ahead in everything that I do, I wouldn't be, this nice smiling person, even though I always used to smile, but my tongue would always let go and say things that should have never come out from my mouth. I just want to just give, two quotations from, you know, people that right now that always stay in that always help me along my way. My first one is from Martin Luther King Jr. You know, it goes like this. It says that good manners will take you further in life than any degree you earn. You know, this is one, you know, that why, you know, I always, you know, greet people, you know, even when, you know, I have my bad days. And the second one is from Albert Einstein. He says that if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it will go through the entire life thinking that it is stupid. This is one of the quotations that I always, you know, reflect to in my education background. You know, even, you know, whilst I studied, you know, architecture. I'm on my second year on a bachelor's degree. You know, it always, you know, give me encouragement. You know, even though, you know, I may not be the smartest in the class or the smartest in the room. You know, we all have our gifts and our abilities. You not envy what nobody have. You know, always, you know, work your best, and with determination you will succeed. Yes, and I just want to say a great thanks to the Rotary Club of St. Lucia, you know, for, you know, setting, you know, for leading me, you know, to have a solid foundation on what, you know, I can reflect onto, and to also, you know, something, you know, that I can always have, you know, to say, you know, I started there. And also, you know, let's also thank them for all the push and the encouragement that they have given me throughout the years.
Yes, for many years, the Rotary Club of St. Lucia has been very proud to coordinate and sponsor this camp directed at youth from around St. Lucia. And it's a way to impart on them some terrific life lessons that hopefully will help them move forward in their lives. We do this in coordination with a number of other terrific organizations in St. Lucia. Today, for instance, we've got some members of the Red Cross teaching some classes, and we have some officers from the Royal St. Lucian Police Force talking about laws and things like that. So it's just a great group of lessons for these young people that will hopefully help them as they mature in life.
I'm Special Police Constable 117 Antoine. We work with the Community Relations Branch.
What's the police input in this drug-free summer camp put up annually by the Rotary Club or something?
Okay, we are here today to lecture on various topics: the law, new conflict resolution, emotional violence, just to teach these young ones about life, the consequences of bad behavior or crime. And so this is why we are here this morning.
You must have done this before. Tell us, how has it been, I mean, in the past?
Well, this is basically our responsibility. We work with a number of schools on the island, and this is what we do. We lecture on various topics. And so when we were asked by the Rotary to come and do this session, we had no problem. And so we are happy to assist and to help them deliberate on the various topics. As a matter of fact, I'm just about to go to a class as we speak. Again, I believe the best way to reach our young people is by getting to them early. Sometimes we try to speak to them about the various topics when it's too late. And so I believe now is the best time, now that they're young, to be able to instill in them these various values so that at least as they grow, they will recognize the right things and the wrong things. And so we're very happy to assist the Rotarians today.
Christelle Branford, and I represent St. Lucia Junior Pride. St. Lucia Junior Pride is Peers Resource Institute for Drug Education. It's a drug prevention club. We started since 1989, and we've been involved with the Rotary Camp for about 17 years as peer counselors.
So tell us about some of the things that you have to deal with attending this camp year after year.
Okay, what we do is interact with the children, take charge of physical training, ensure that their dorms are clean, and to kind of enforce discipline and support some of the programs, especially the drug prevention programs. So sometimes we have to do a one-on-one individual counseling or one-on-one individual listening to some of the participants in the club or on the camp.
But they must come from different communities, different households, and how do you deal with some of the problems?
They do that. But again, with St. Lucia Junior Pride, we carry out little training for our peer counselors so that they are able to deal and interact with the children who come, because they come from various communities, they come from various disciplines, and they come from different households, if I may say. So you find a number of children with different attitudes, and this is what we try to curb. And that's where it is important to do the one-on-one kind of talk with the young people. So therefore, our peer counselors at St. Lucia Junior Pride, we have some form of training for them in order that when we come on this camp, everybody is able to deal with the children. If for sure that something is above their level, well, then they refer it to me.
Giovanni, I just want to thank you very sincerely for sharing that very touching story with us. Yours is a very compelling story, and I think it's a story that other young people, other young men and young women like you should hear, because there's a lot to learn from what you've just shared with us. And I'm very happy to be a part of the Rotary Club and to know that it has played such a meaningful role in your life. And I really hope those who hear the story will be motivated and will likewise see the possibilities of changing their life. And the Rotary Club would like to wish you all the best as you continue on this new journey. Thank you so much for talking to us this afternoon.
Thank you.